In 2014, conservationist and filmmaker Paul Rosolie became the center of worldwide controversy after starring in a documentary in which he attempted to be eaten alive by a giant anaconda deep in the Amazon rainforest. The goal of the experiment was not simply to shock audiences. Rosolie wanted to raise awareness about the urgent need to protect the Amazon rainforest and its wildlife by demonstrating the incredible power and danger of one of its most iconic predators in its natural habitat. Beyond its dramatic visuals, the experiment carried a much deeper message about rainforest conservation, scientific research on giant snakes, and the ethical debate surrounding the limits of wildlife documentaries. From a biological perspective, anacondas are extraordinary animals. They are constrictor snakes, meaning they kill their prey by cutting off blood circulation and preventing them from breathing. They are capable of swallowing animals as large as deer and even caimans. Despite their enormous size and strength, attacks on humans are extremely rare and usually occur only when the snake feels threatened or cornered. The announcement that a man intended to allow himself to be swallowed headfirst by a giant anaconda stunned audiences around the world and sparked outrage among many viewers. Discovery Channel announced that it would broadcast a special documentary publicly documenting the unprecedented experiment. According to the network, the program would be titled Eaten Alive and would premiere on December 7th as part of its programming schedule. The documentary promised to show filmmaker Paul Rosolie entering the anaconda's stomach while wearing a specially engineered protective suit designed to keep him alive during the encounter. To encourage the snake to attack, Rosolie covered himself with arrow pig's bloods, making himself appear to be an easy prey. The original concept was for the snake to swallow him and later regurgitate him safely. However, for safety reasons, the experiment was stopped before the anaconda was actually able to swallow him completely. The documentary immediately became one of the most controversial television events of the year. It received widespread criticism across social media and news outlets. Some people questioned both the ethics and the enormous risks involved. Others argued that the documentary successfully brought global attention to the conservation of the Amazon rainforest and its unique biodiversity. According to its creators, the event was never intended to portray a genuine animal attack, but rather a carefully controlled demonstration designed for educational and conservation purposes. Discovery Channel also faced heavy criticism for choosing to promote and broadcast the experiment. Despite the controversy, Paul Rosolie had already accepted the challenge and signed the necessary agreements before filming began. He ultimately survived the experience, although several experts quoted by The Washington Post argued that allowing an anaconda to swallow a human alive would be virtually impossible and extremely dangerous. Even though the experiment was carefully controlled, it still involved genuine risks. The specially designed protective suit played a critical role in preventing serious or potentially fatal injuries. Experts emphasized that any interaction with large wild animals must be approached with extreme caution and scientific knowledge. Nature is not a stage for entertainment, and human safety, as well as animal welfare, must always remain the highest priority. Even so, many viewers continue to see the documentary as an act of animal cruelty. Critics argue that the anaconda was placed under unnecessary stress and was ultimately forced to regurgitate the filmmaker after attempting to consume him. More than a decade later, Eaten Alive remains one of the most controversial wildlife documentaries ever produced. Supporters believe it succeeded in drawing global attention to the importance of protecting the Amazon. Critics, however, argue that the sensationalism overshadowed its conservation message and crossed ethical boundaries that should never have been tested. Now, I'd love to hear what you think about this story. Do you believe the documentary helped raise awareness for conservation, or did it go too far? Let me know your opinion in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.